So Guruji, I think with the very nature of the word relationship means that there are two separate objects which have to relate to one another.
Two separate entities.
Yeah, entities.
Individuals or whatever we may.
Yes. So they have to relate to each other. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of people who are in, a husband, wife or lovers or whatever, we forget that aspect that the other person is a different individual who comes from different backgrounds, family upbringing, values, beliefs, and we start wanting two things. One is, I think, extreme expectations that the other person should behave the way I want him or her to behave, and what I think is right, the other person should also say. And inherent to that is also, I think, this defect of wanting to possess. So in love, or in relationships, is that one of the other reasons for suffering, where our expectations and also not giving space to the other individual and understanding that that is a separate person and we need to come together only on certain things, and the other things we are independent to have our own views on whatever.
Quite good. You see, this feeling of possessiveness that overpowers every lover or beloved, it is very common to all the lovers and to all the beloveds. And you see what is the fundamental reason behind it. Just because the lover wants that the other person is my property. And since the other person is my property, he or she has no right to interact with anyone. But at the same time, that man who wants to possess his beloved never thinks that his beloved has also got some likes, some dislikes. He never bothers that the beloved will be so unhappy if she is being taken as a commodity to be possessed. The freedom of the beloved, if that is no concern of the lover, then can you say that love exists between the two? Love is such tremendously powerful emotion that its basic intrinsic nature is it allows freedom. And being in love means living in ultimate freedom. And being in love with someone means trying to offer the similar ultimate freedom to the one whom you love. But you are not in position to allow freedom and ultimate freedom to your lover simply because you yourself don't have any experience of freedom and ultimate freedom. Simply because you have not been able to experience the joy of aloneness. Simply because you have not been able to experience the joy of your ultimate being. Simply because you have not been able to experience the beauty of being totally joyful within yourself. Since you are incapable of ultimate joy within yourself, since you are not joyful by yourself, you cannot experience freedom. You can experience freedom only when you don't feel the need of someone for your happiness. If you are feeling the need of someone for your happiness, it means your happiness is dependent on somebody else. In yourself, you are not experiencing the ultimate state of happiness or joy. first learn to experience that ultimate freedom, that ultimate joy in being your own self without the help of the other. Once you have experienced your ultimate freedom, your ultimate joy within yourself, not if your joy is not dependent on someone else, only then you are capable of relating with the whole world. That joy which you would like to share with the other, now you will not be trying to possess, you will be trying to make him or her happier and happier. Whatever be his or her joy, that will be your concern. You will start permitting him, allowing him more and more freedom, and the natural byproduct would be that he or she will not rush hither and thither. He or she will be fulfilled within himself with the, he will take deep dive into your love and will not even feel the need of rushing elsewhere. So this is a very unique phenomena. It can be understood only by experience. But what I am telling you is my own experience. And by the authenticity of my own experience, I can say this is something worth practicing and cultivating by every individual on this planet. Practice it and see the magic.
I think the problem with most humans is the more we like something, we hold on to it more tightly. And the more and more tightly we hold on to something, I think that other thing feels suffocated. So this
and wants to run away.
And we
so
touch it more.
So your possessiveness in fact drives the other person to other nooks and corners.
Yeah.
To find someone who is more pleasant, pleasing, rather than you being so cruel to him. And the other person needs to be respected, needs to be loved, must not be treated as furniture.
Let go, as they say.
Yes, let go and enjoy.
But common fear is let go means losing. So this fear of losing somebody, a lot of people I think have this fear that if I fall in love with somebody, then I will lose the person. So what do such people do?
In fact, such people do not understand the very chemistry of life. They do not understand the fundamental truths of life. They do not understand the psychology of the individual. Once you go closer and closer to a person, if you surrender more and more to a person, if you leave yourself more and more, and I say, if you leave yourself totally into the hands of the other person, the one in whose hand you leave yourself will become more careful about you than you can take care of yourself. So, just because of the misunderstanding of this fundamental truth, people are afraid of this thing going the other way, this thing slipping out of my hand. No, that is the most wrongful understanding of human nature and human psychology. There should not be even the slightest fear of losing. Once you are filled with the fear of losing, you are bound to lose. Because by being filled with the fear of losing, you invite the forces of losing to happen in actuality, in reality. Because whatever you focus upon, that happens to grow in reality day by day, every day. That is why it is said, if you want something to happen, always focus upon it. If you are always focusing on the fear of losing, then the incident of losing is bound to happen. So such persons should always drop the fears. Once you drop the fear, fear becomes an invitation for the same to happen. So if you drop the fear, you will find that everything will start happening the way you want it. So it is a clear-cut instruction, a clear-cut guidance for those who do not understand the psychology of man, who do not understand the intrinsic nature of human relationship, and they are always filled with the fear of losing the other. They must take cognizance of this fundamental truth, that they should instantly drop all fears and they should extend their hands of love and friendship wholeheartedly with a sense of total surrender to the other. And in spirituality it is said, the more you surrender, the more strength you gain. The more you surrender, more powerful you become. And once you surrender yourself totally, you become absolutely powerful and you receive the whole strength of the universe. That is why Samarpan, or total surrender, has been praised as the most powerful spiritual device through which even godliness can be achieved, through which even God can be realized. If God can be realized through total surrender, then the lover or the beloved or smaller entities, they can always be realized 100% at your heart, at your feet.
Why is it that something so important which you mentioned of, if at all there is a concept of unconditional love and surrender, why did our poets and all these people not use that and romanticize the feelings of jealousy?
Yeah, I understand, Vikram, you are right, but